Pre-algebra lesson 91, order of operations with sign numbers and symbols of inclusion. So this is just going to be more practice on our rules of PEMDAS, and we're going to have multiple symbols of inclusion. What that means is parentheses and brackets. Now the simple rule when we're dealing with these is, like, for example, right here we've got parentheses inside of brackets or parentheses inside parentheses. We deal with the innermost parentheses first and work our way from the inside out. Once we're done with our parentheses step, then we can go on to our exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, right? And then the other interesting thing is inside of each set of parentheses, we have to put through a mini PEMDAS, as it were. So since we have to start out with parentheses and there's multiple operations inside of each parenthesis, we'll do the exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction inside of each set of parentheses. So let's put this into practice. Here I've written the words PEMDAS, right? And I color-coded them so you can see what we're solving when. I keep trying to do that and I forget I can. Haha! Right? That's easier. That's more to my liking. Okay, so let's start with the parentheses of PEMDAS. Now, like I was saying, we have to start with the innermost parentheses first, right? So I'm going to start with this one right here. So I have to put what is -3 plus -2. I'll go and insert a little mental addition sign. -3 plus -2, well, that's -5. And I have simplified one set of parentheses. Now, the other set of parentheses, so now what I've got is -5 in brackets, and I have times 4 in brackets, I have minus, and over here, still got, actually, I can simplify this set of parentheses too. Go ahead and put the -2 on the outside, -2 plus -3 plus +1. That becomes -4. Great. So I've simplified some parentheses, but I'm still not done. I have to keep simplifying more and more parentheses. And it's helpful to rewrite the entire problem underneath. For those of you who don't like using lots of lines in your homework, I'm sorry to say it, but if you don't start using more paper, you're just going to get these wrong. And it's not that you're bad at math or you can't do things in your head. Sometimes you'll get them right. A lot of times you'll get them right. I was the same way when I was a student, but no one's perfect. You're going to make mistakes if you try to hold all this information in your head instead of putting it on paper. Ease the mental stress that your brain is going through, and use a little bit of extra lead and paper. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite each revision of the problem on a separate line underneath until it looks like an upside down pyramid, and the very bottom of the upside down pyramid will be my answer. So to finish simplifying parentheses, I just have to simplify this one right here. So I would do -5 times 4, which would give me -20 in brackets. From that point, I can then copy everything else down, and I can go to my exponent step. There are no exponents, so I can skip blue. Multiplication, division. There's some multiplication right here. Okay. Why didn't this one count? Well, because that's still inside a set of brackets. So I did multiply, but I'm still on the parentheses step because I'm trying to get rid of all those parentheses. Now, this one will count as multiplication because each number inside each parenthesis has been reduced to a single term. So -2 times -4 gives me +8. And then, this negatives, I can use the multiplication rule on those. Those become positive, so I have +8 plus 20. And then I go to my final step, the addition and subtraction step. 8 plus 20 is 28. See, just like I said, the problem turns into an upside-down pyramid, leading to your final answer as you go through all the steps of PEMDAS. Now, we're going to do this on a more difficult problem. So this is a great one to kind of establish the symbols of inclusion. Let's do this problem because this is more relatable to what you'll see in your homework. And this one is definitely more terrifying and dreadful. This is a great problem. So I'll go ahead and put the little PEMDAS guide off to the side again. Ta-da! Let's start with the parentheses. And like I said, with parentheses, we're going to have to deal with some exponent stuff. Or we're going to have to do a mini version of PEMDAS inside each parentheses. Again, I start with the innermost set. When I have two innermost sets, I'm just going to do both of them at the same time, right? So inside of this set of parentheses, I have to figure out what this number is +1. And then inside of this parentheses, I have exponents and addition. So I'm going to deal with the exponent first, okay? This exponent of the cubed root of 8 is actually equal to the number 2. That's something that we could have memorized because we should have, most of our cubed roots memorized, or we could use some factoring to figure that out and know that 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. So now this parenthesis has been simplified to 2 plus 1. This parenthesis, we've got some more square roots. I should know that the square root of 64 is 8. And I should also know the square root of 49 is 7. And again, it's still a parenthetical step. Bring down the minus sign right there. Okay, great. Now, from here, I'm going to recopy everything else I did not change. Right? This is going to get tedious for some of you, and you're not going to want to do this step, but if you don't recopy everything on each line, you're going to forget things. I've seen it so many times where students go, oh, I'll just do this, and then I'll add that at the bottom. And that's when people make mistakes. So don't do that. Just be disciplined, copy everything. You'll get faster at it, I promise. It's not that bad. Okay, so the final parenthesis step is I got to turn these parentheses into a single number. So that's just going to be parentheses 1 times parentheses 3 inside a parenthesis of 3, and there's a minus 1 at the back. There's still 2, it's 2 squared. And, I know how to write numbers, I promise I do. 2 cubed. And the plus sign. Can't forget the plus sign. Okay, almost done simplifying the parentheses. Got to get this one. And again, inside the parentheses, I have to use PEMDAS inside these brackets. So I'm going to do a little bit of multiplication here. 3 times 1 is 3, times 3 is 9. And then addition and subtraction. 9 minus 1 gives me 8. So now my parenthesis, or my bracket, is just the number 8. Okay, and then once I've simplified that bracket, I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 2 squared and the plus 2 cubed. Great. Now I can go on to my exponent step again, since all my parentheses are down to a single number. 2 cubed is going to be 8. 2 squared is 4. And the bracket is still 8. Now I can go to multiplication. Multiplication, that is going to become 32. And then lastly, addition and subtraction. 8 plus 32. Oops. 8 plus 32 gives me 40. All right. And that's the right, great, that's the right answer. Okay, well, that's all we got for this lesson. So, go through your rules of PEMDAS, make sure you do your parentheses from the inside out, and then each set of parentheses, you got to go through your, your little mini steps of PEMDAS, So like this one, I started from the inside out, I did the exponents. Once I simplified the exponents, then I was able to go to addition and subtraction. Once I simplified the addition and subtraction, now I had to deal with the bracket. To deal with the bracket, I had to do multiplication, then addition and subtraction, and I finally got my parentheses down to one number. Then I went through the rest of the list, exponents, multiplication, addition, subtraction. All right, if you have any questions, let me know on the school website, and I'll see you in class.